Dark Souls. This is the start of uncompleted games on my Nintendo Switch. Previously, I have played all of my uncompleted games on my Nintendo 3DS and finished them. This means we move on to the next console, which is the Nintendo Switch, with our first game being Dark Souls Remastered. This is all a part of my project called A Gamer's Legacy, where I finish my whole catalog of games that are uncompleted. I haven't played Dark Souls Remastered in years though, so coming back to this game filled me with some confusion. My previous save file had some hours racked up on it, but I had no idea where I was or even what I was doing. So I decided to start over the game entirely. Since I decided to start over the whole game though, I decided to use an IGN guide that I will link into the description, but only when I got lost. I didn't use it to help me get items or to progress faster, so this is pretty much a blind run, since I will just be using it if I do get lost on what to do next, because this game is pretty long and pretty big. Anyway, with that out of the way, this leads us to our first chapter in our journey. We start a new game with the appropriate name of Thunder and the class of Bandit. I chose this class because of the axe weapon, since I've always enjoyed axes in games. For the gift, I had no idea what to choose, with so many options at my hands. But I opted for the Tiny Beans ring, since it gave a little bit of HP to my character. I just went for the average physique and chose a face that I found likable. We get an amazing cutscene that basically gives us a background on the story of Dark Souls. I'll just give you a little rundown. So basically, it explains how fire came into being with these people who found souls of lords in the flame. We got our boy Nito, Izalith with her daughters, Gwyn, who is the lord over the sunlight and he got the gang with him, and some person called the furtive pygmy, or the bum of the group, pretty much. They challenged these dragons with one dragon called Seath, betraying his own kind and teaming with the humans. That's kind of crazy, but that's how they defeated all the dragons. So now we are in the Age of Fire and learn that there's a dark sign that people can get, which apparently I guess we have that.
That was a sick cutscene.
That sure was, Cobain. We hop in with us being in a jail cell, aura farming like the man we are, but some random dude just decides to help us. Like, who are you? Anyway, we start to learn the basics of attacking enemies with normal attacks and strong attacks. We kill these ugly people with this guy squatting in the corner like a gangsta. We learn that we can recover health by laying at these bonfires, which acts as a checkpoint for us. And we open this massive door that leads us to...
Oh crap. Okay. Nope. Alright. Oh, I'm stuck. Okay. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Go, 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 go.
Bro, I just got into this game like 2 seconds ago, and they are already throwing a whole boss at me. This is truly the Dark Souls experience. We acquire a shield and a weapon for our class, and then we learn the infamous roll. This gives us iframes, so when we roll, we are and can't get hit by enemies if we time it correctly. I know this because of Elden Ring, which I played a long time ago, but that's a story for another time.
Whoa, it's him. That's the guy who saved us.
We find the guy who saved us, who I still don't know who this is, but he's dying, I guess. I guess he got defeated by that boss we saw earlier. He basically tells us to ring the Bell of Awakening, whatever that is, and gives us Estus flasks and a key, which is very kind of him, considering we just met. But wait, I finally realize who this guy is. It's the guy from the cover. It all makes sense now. Anyway, we bid our farewells, and I learn about double-handing a weapon which does more damage to enemies. That'll be useful later on. We go into this white wall, and I realize I gotta fight this guy. So I put my big boy pants on and try to kill him. I was dodging, I was hitting, but I was still getting hit a whole bunch of times. I even used all my Estus flasks with it. It came down to the wire, but I did the finishing blow, and we defeat our first boss. We open the iron doors and walk up the hill to get kidnapped by a crow. Wow, this game is kind of insane. We arrive in Firelink Shrine, and it tells us to level up and kindle at bonfires, or whatever that means. I don't know what kindle means. We use a consumable called Humanity and lay down at the bonfire. I didn't really know what stats to level up since there were so many, but I decided to level Dexterity and Resistance, which I'm going to regret leveling Resistance up. Anyway, I reversed my Halloween, which is basically the red state I'm in, and it's pretty. I look pretty ugly.
Ugh. Brother, ugh.
But I become an actual human and become pretty. We then talk to this guy just sitting, who actually gives us a reasonable quest. So I thought there was like one Bell of Awakening, like how that knight said, right? But there's actually two. One at the top of the Undead Church, wherever that is, and the other on the bottom of Blighttown. I then met this guy named Petrus, who didn't really want to talk to me, so I just left him alone. We then find a whole treasure trove of loot. I hit the jackpot, baby, and we got some nice little items. But this leads us to a graveyard, and well,
I die?
yep, our first death to some skeletons. That's one way to die. And we go back to being hollowed again. Or the red state. The ugly state. We retrieve all our souls, which is this little thing at the bottom that levels us up, and we can use to buy stuff. We kept exploring the graveyard.
Oh, nope, nope.
Yeah, I ain't doing all that. I guess we have to finally start our journey, though, with us going off to the Bell of Awakening. So, I set off to the top of the bell, or what the chainmail guy called it, the Undead Church, and we climb up the stairs after dying once, and arrive at Undead Burg with these nice, friendly enemies giving me a nice, heartfelt welcome. We kept going with exploration, killing, and collecting items. Some people may think that me exploring is kind of dumb since it seems like I'm wasting time, but it somehow brought me to a merchant, and I just like exploring. I'm an adventurer, bro. We can use our souls to buy some things from him. So we get a key and the whole chain armor set for more drip. I mean, protection, my bad. We finally lit a bonfire after buying some armor, and we continue on. Here's a little montage for you.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
There he is, our first mini-boss. After learning how to parry a little bit in this game, I got a little cocky and decided to take this guy on. Wait a minute, is that Death Sight here? Oh my goodness.
Got it.
Too easy. It's just too easy for me. After that mess of a fight, we get a nice ring that we can equip and get a nice little buff. But we finally make it to the next boss after all that mess.
This is a boss.
Yes, it is. Nice, got our first death from an actual boss. Well, let's see how long this takes. After dying a couple of times, we locked in and got the victory. And we meet this guy called Solaire, and he really likes the sun. Bro, I think there's just a bunch of weirdos in this game, bro. Anyway, we then get our first interaction with a nice little dragon. What the? Yeah, I was not going to deal with that anytime soon. So I went down a staircase, and we got a shortcut to our bonfire, which is nice. Or at least a nice distraction from that dragon. We got a bunch of souls, so we level up some stats and restore our humanity again to become pretty. After getting poisoned by some rats, I make it to the Undead Parish and meet our second mini-boss. This one was way harder than the last one, purely for the fact that he did a whole bunch of damage if you get hit. And his timing was hard to predict, so I couldn't parry well. So I decided that it was the best that I moved on and get better equipment. But there's another obstacle in our way again. Be my new little friend.
Hi.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough. So I realized my weapon wasn't cutting it, but I remembered something in the past. If you shoot the dragon's tail, right, you can get a pretty OP sword, which I had in my last playthrough a while back as you started the video. So I got myself some arrows and began shooting. And we finally got the sword I wanted, the Drake sword. I decided to challenge that mini-boss again, in which I obviously died, but I did more damage now, so yay. I then had to come up with a strategy to take out this boar, so I noticed a little opening and I used that to my advantage by luring him and hitting him with my sword. I kept repeating this until he eventually died. So that's one enemy down. We meet a new kind of enemy after I explored, but he was not too much trouble. He was like those knights, but with better equipment. We then make it to a gate and open it, which gives us easy access back to my last bonfire. Then we go into the church area with a new mini-boss to fight. He had some heavy hits, so getting hit by him dealt a lot of damage to me, but we took him out with some patience and time. There was also a sorcerer we had to take out with a whole bunch of hollows protecting him, but we cleared them with enough spamming. We then find a new NPC in jail. I decided to help him out. I mean, I was a little sussed out because of the message that said, yeah, but I decided to trust him though. We finally make it to a new bonfire, and it was right by a blacksmith as well, who will upgrade our gear and weapons to make them stronger. He was a pretty cool guy and massively buff as well. We also met another NPC who was on the bigger side. He also didn't talk much, so I left him alone. I finally make it to the top of the undead church, and there was a summon sign for Solaire, so he can help us in this fight. You know, the guy who really likes the sun. I decided why not, and summon him.
Ooh, cutscene. Oh, I don't think statues should be going. I think statues should be coming back to life around.
So, we gotta fight a gargoyle. He looked pretty tough, but with Solaire, I knew we could beat him. Until I realized that there was another.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize you were here. Okay.
So I focused on one while Solaire focused on the other, and luckily we beat them first try. We climb up the ladder after the boss fight, and
I did it, yep. I did it.
that's one bell.
Alright. One more bell to go.
That's right, Cobain. Our next objective is the Blighttown Bell, or the bell down below, to get to now. We make it back to the Undead Parish, and we use a Firekeeper soul in my inventory to get 5 humanities. I didn't know what to do with it at that time, so I regret it now considering I could have used that to improve my flasks. Anyway, I decided to go through this doorway where the blacksmith was, and we find a boss. The boss had some electricity attacks and had some crazy range. This results in our first death. Me being my prideful self though, I obviously went back to run the ones again. You probably know how this goes down for me though. After those few deaths though, I finally understood that I needed to be more careful, and we conquered him after learning his moveset. We enter into this new area that is like a forest. Bro, when I first saw this, my adventurer inside me could not contain himself, and so off I went. We went into this area, we went into that area. Bro, it was a whole adventure. We meet some new enemies along the way that were pretty easy to take out, and we figure out the name of this area to be Darkroot Garden. We kept going deeper into the forest and came across this door, which we can't open yet. So I decided to backtrack a little bit and go through another path that leads us to Darkroot Basin, which is Darkroot Garden, but a basin. I don't even know what a basin is. We find some useless armor laying around and come across another knight mini-boss. But with careful maneuvering, I escaped him and entered a cave with a bonfire. I went back to fight that knight, not worrying if I would die since I respawned right next to him, so it was an easy win. I decided to go deeper into the cave and go down a contraption. It leads us to a valley of drakes, or dragons.
Is that a dragon? Oh no.
And I knew I didn't stand a chance, so I calmly went back. We eventually meet a whole new enemy made of crystals, which were relatively tough, and there was— is that a Hydra? Yeah, I know I didn't stand a chance against these guys right now, so I just left. I needed to figure out how to fight that Hydra, and so I go back to that locked door and continue around that path. We meet these massive stone guys, and I made sure not to even try to engage with them, so I ran to the nearest building to protect myself. Then I went through the white fog since the enemy was chasing me and I was weak and, well...
Oh, you kidding me? Wait, what? No, I'm not ready for a boss fight. I'm not ready for a boss fight.
Yeah, you saw that coming. I decided to change my equipment to get a little stronger and educate myself on what the stats do because my current build was not cutting it. I go back to that sealed door and read a message. Yep, bonfire was there the whole time. Just an illusion of a wall that was blocking it. Man, this game hates me. Since we did some upgrades to my overall build though, I decided to test my luck against these huge stone golems now, since I ran away last time. Though I was struggling, my efforts of improving myself paid off and I was able to kill them. I then found this tree with messages telling us to attack it, so guess what I did? I killed the tree. There was a secret path with these frog enemies? What the heck is this? That's enough exploration. Let's fight this boss. At first, I had no idea how to kill this boss since I had no magic and my arrows weren't doing anything. Like 0 damage. So I obviously died. I decided to wait it out as it shot magic at me, hoping that it would come down because I was a melee kind of guy. It eventually does, and I spammed that button so hard until it stopped glowing. Then I got scared. But we kept repeating this with dodge, spam, run, and eventually we killed that huge butterfly. Pretty easy boss fight overall. We got a basement key and divine ember after that boss, and we level up our stats. You know what's interesting though? The way these stats work is you level one stat and you gain 1 level, but the souls go up. So each soul is really useful in the long run since it's going to add up after leveling up. What sucks though is I didn't plan my build when I first started playing, so I wasted souls on resistance, which I looked up. Yeah, apparently you don't need to level that up, so that sucks. We go back to the blacksmith to give him the divine ember, which helps us upgrade our weapons. But I didn't really understand upgrading at this point of the game, so I just didn't care at that point. We move on and walk into this church, and I find an elevator that takes us all the way back to Firelink Shrine. So that was nifty. I then talk to Petrus, who apologizes. He didn't mean to talk to us in an ill will, and gave us a copper coin. Wow, thanks. I'm totally gonna use this. I then find the gold knight I saved, and he gives us a medal. I mean, I guess it's better than a copper coin. I then see a lady behind the jail cell, and she was the person you were supposed to give the Firekeeper's soul, but as you recall, I wasted it. We go down to this place called New Londo Ruins, and it was pretty gloomy down there.
Good.
But I found another blacksmith who seemed to be experienced in magic. Other than that though, not much to do here. So I was confused to where to go, so I went back to the bridge where the dragon was and used that key to get in one of the doors. This new place had some pouncing dogs, But we got a little shortcut back to a previous bonfire, so that was cool. We then find someone trapped in one of the houses in the new area. And as the kind Samaritan I am, I helped this guy out, and he also dealt in magic. Man, it's like a calling for me, like I'm supposed to use magic. Dang. We then get jumped by some thieves, like we are in the ghetto. Obviously, though, I ain't no punk. We then reach the end of the area, is what I thought until I saw the staircase downstairs. So my instincts explore.
Bro, standing like the main character, bro. Look at it. This guy thinks he's the main character, bro. We're like, look at this. Bro, standing in the middle of the hallway like he's Batman, bro. You ain't doing nothing.
That is, I finally go back to the boss room and... Yep, died immediately. This ain't gonna be one of those easy boss fights.
What am I supposed to do? Dang it. I was so close that time.
This boss fight was super annoying. Not because it was exceptionally difficult, but because of these stinking wolves and the boss jumping me at the same time. I was kind of done with this stupid boss, bro, so I made sure to take care of him with so much rage built inside me from all those deaths. Man, that boss was a pain. We go back to Firelink Shrine to meet up with that guy that I saved, who dealt in magic. We then go check up on that chainmail guy and see how he's doing. You know, to showcase that I rung the first bell. Flex, you know, since he was preying on my downfall. He realizes we rung the first bell and is shocked, but tells us to keep going. I ignore the part, though, where he says it's going to be suicide if I keep going. I'm gonna prove him wrong. Watch. I then get to the church at Firelink Shrine and I hear... Well... That will be important later. I go back to that locked door and I can finally unlock it. I low-key forgot how we got the key, but whatever. We go into this dark area called the Depths and fight some hollows. We then meet a new kind of enemy who looked tough, but I was still able to kill him. And we meet a guy stuck in a barrel. How did you even... Anyway, we free him and he was like, "Oh, thanks, senpai. I will never forget this." You know, like how every other NPC acts. Though, I found him likable. We continue on with us finding a shortcut to the sewers and finding... Whoa. Yeah, that's disgusting. We do kill it with ease by shooting it with arrows, but you crazy if you think I'm going down there to get infected by some rat. Though I did the finishing blow very closely to it. Ugh. After killing a real-life representation of a rat, I kept exploring the sewers and collecting items. I finally get some relief by getting to a new bonfire and do some quick leveling up. Through more exploring, we come into contact with whatever this thing is and exterminate them. We fight another sorcerer who we dispatched quickly and did much more exploring. We do finally find the boss room after a ton of exploring, and we get to meet with this.
Cutscene. What? Is that crocodile? Okay. No. Okay. Nah. We're done. Bro, what is that? No, what is that? What? Seriously. What do you expect me to do against this? I don't... Bro! We're dead. Jeez.
Yeah, I wasn't too good after seeing that. Mentally because of how big and dangerous he looked, and physically from how ugly this appearance is. Like, I want to throw up. Why is its head... Anyway, I made sure to always be behind it, but I do almost die. What? Oh, I'm not dead. I should be dead. I kept dwindling down his health until I eventually did die, and I was so close as well. After learning from my mistakes, I was determined to take the stupid dragon down. Oh, come on! You can't pull up with a new move on me. But you know what they say, third time's the charm, and I ain't going down without a fight. So I kept all his moves in the front of my mind, made sure to be careful, and kept dwindling down his health. It took a while to kill this guy, but we finally take him down. We went back to Firelink Shrine after that boss fight and decided to learn magic while I was at it. You know, since there were so many sorcerers everywhere. With a staff and some magic, I felt unstoppable. I also found the other guy I saved, and he sells pyromancy, but I really wasn't interested in that stuff yet.
Foreshadow.
We go check on our golden buddy, and I start taking a liking to him. Even though he insults me, I respect the drip though. I then read a message of trying to kick him, and that reminds me of the message of backstabbing me as well. But he ain't gonna do all that. He looks like a chill guy. So I left him alone. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? We then visit Petrus again, accompanied by 2 other knights and some woman. He says he will leave with them shortly. I didn't really care about this guy though, to be honest, so we move on. I then got lost on what to do, so I looked up the IGN guide and it told us to go back to Undead Asylum. So, I guess we're going back. You're probably asking, why do I have to go back to Undead Asylum? I'll explain that later. We had to collect a key first, which we got on a roof, and lay down in the crow's nest like an egg. He totally can't tell that I'm a human. The crow takes us back and we are greeted by some hollows who immediately kill us. I hate myself. I go back to defeat them and walk back into the building.
Oh, crap. Whoa.
What?
I wasn't expecting a whole boss fight.
Yep, he's back and with magic as well. I run all the way back, making sure to avoid falling again and get the bonfire. We did some more exploration and found some new enemies. After realizing the magic wasn't cutting it, I fought him and died again. But we eventually take out the guy and get a new item called the Peculiar Doll. We fight another knight after that and die again, but we take him out. As we were walking back, I run into an old friend.
What's that? Oh.
Oh! What? I was confused at first who this was. I then remembered.
Of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know.
Well.
Oh, and this.
Oh, nice.
Now I must bid farewell.
See ya.
I would hate to harm you after death.
We got the Rusted Iron Ring, which allows us to move smoothly in tough areas. And this is why we came here. See, the Rusted Iron Ring will allow us to move smoothly in the water when we fight the Hydra. So, yeah. We can leave now. Oh, you actually thought I was leaving? Yeah, we're beating this guy. Why? Because I hate myself. How am I supposed to fight this guy? I'm going... Yeah, that was the first major roadblock in my journey. But we took care of him in the end, probably one of the worst bosses in the game. We go back to Firelink Shrine and went back to Darkroot Basin to fight a secret enemy. This guy had some heavy attacks.
Get over here!
But he was also slower than a turtle, so we took each opportunity to hit him when we could and eventually finish him off to get his ring, which boosts maximum equipment load to move faster. I then decided to fight the Hydra since we have the ring and I can move in the water freely, like I said. We had to get close to him though, so he stopped shooting his water beams and we had to wait for him to charge us. After we did that, we do as much damage to him as we can, cut off some heads, and repeat. The only problem was that there was a massive hole that was hard to see, so we fell into it and died. Shockingly though, the Hydra wasn't as hard to deal with as it looks, and we take him out through some patience. I then found this little ladder over here, which leads us to, yep, I was getting jumped. So I decided to hold off on that. I then found this gold crystal guy and kill him with relative ease, in which we find a lady inside him. Where did you come from? She basically thanks us and talks about her home, but I ain't care. We go back to the Undead Parish with some leveling up, and we finally head to Blight Town. Yeah, it looks really gloomy. I guess I confused Blight Town with Bright Town because I look at the definition of Blight and it's not good. We then find our first enemy in Blight Town, who's like twice our size, but we do kill him. We then find some new other enemies that are kind of a bit of a problem. We do get past them though and keep moving forward. This area was pretty weird, but also cool with this kind of descending down with ladders and platforms. It still was mad creepy to be there though. We then ran into another problem with our weapon having low durability, resulting in our main damage being minused by 60. So now we did 140 damage, which was not what I want. I decided to switch with a great axe, but I was not used to it since it was a major switch from a fast weapon to a really slow weapon. There's also these ugly things, so it made my experience 10 times worse. There were also these stupid flies that kept coming out of nowhere, and I die a lot. So far, my experience with Blight Town was very negative. I literally went all the way back to repair my Drake Sword because it was so hard to use the Stinging Great Axe. I then decided that I wanted to use Pyromancy. I never really used Pyromancy in many playthroughs of different games that are like this. So why not? I also have the Drake Sword, so it'd be kind of cool if we can use like a fire dragon type build, you know? So I bought the combustion spell and equipped it, even though I was pretty far into the game. I was enjoying my new Pyromancy with it being used on weak enemies. I even decided to get the fireball to become super hot. Get it? My bad. With our new Pyromancies and Drake Sword, I felt unstoppable. Okay, well, I wasn't the strongest though. I finally found a new bonfire and we traversed the swamp. I just did a whole bunch of exploring and gaining items like the Firekeeper, so let's go! We can finally improve our flasks. Then we found a whole new area in the Valley of the Drakes and a shortcut to New Launder Ruins. And an undead dragon as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave him alone. We then go to this new area and yeah, very disgusting. We finally make it to the boss. Can give it a little. Yeah, what the heck is that? What? Why is there a human? Why is there... Is that a woman? Oh my goodness. Yo! Whoa! Yo, wait. Why is she doing that? After almost getting flashed, we have to fight this abomination of a person. Bro, like, what even is this? Our Pyromancy was also useless because, well, fire and fire. So it kept spewing lava and the girl kept slashing me with fire as well. But I finally locked in and took her out by staying at the sides of her, hitting and blocking when necessary. When we did that, we took her out with not much trouble.
Why did I think that this was gonna be... I knew someone was gonna talk about that.
We are so cooked. We finally make it to the last bell and ring it after a long journey.
Second bell. Took long enough. What is it? Huh? Wait a minute, I know that place. That's by the blacksmith. Whoa.
After I rung the bell, I decided to look at the IGN guide because I was completely lost on what to do. It said there was a hidden wall in the tower that the bell is in, so I hit the wall and there was... Anyway, that thing asked us if we were a new servant. I said yes, cause why not? And the thing lets us through. I go to the bonfire and see another Quelaag, but this one looked way more sickly. I could offer her Firekeeper souls, so W's in the chat. We can also join her covenant, and since I didn't really know what that was, I say yes, and we get a new pyromancy spell, which looked overpowered as heck, and it's perfect because we decided to become a pyromancer. So this might be the perfect covenant for me. After getting that spell, I decided to head up to Firelink Shrine and...
What? Where did she... She died?
I have no idea what happened and how she died, but it looks like someone attacked her? She also dropped a black eye thingy, which might be the cause of her death, but I don't know. Anyway, rest in peace, Firelink Shrine girl I barely talked to. We head to the church, and what is that? Bro, this game keeps getting weirder and weirder the more I play. I was hesitant to talk to it, but my curiosity got the best of me. Apparently, though, it was a serpent, and he gives us a new mission of acquiring the Lord Vessel at Anor Londo, wherever that is. Just as I thought that I was almost done with this game, a stupid snake had to ruin it. Well, off to Anor Londo we go. Before that, though, we are going to do a little side quest because the IGN guide said we should go to Darkroot Garden first. We are essentially going to that area that we almost got jumped in. So we enter Darkroot Garden and...
What the? Did he just do a barrel roll?
Yeah, wasn't expecting a massive cat to roll at me at 200 miles per hour, but here we are. We do kill one of the big cats there and kill the other one as well. We then come across a bridge leading to a massive door. Obviously, I had to open this, and we see a grave. Then...
Whoa, wait. Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. Oh. Okay.
Bad doggy. Bad doggy. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. GG's. Okay, now we gotta fight a massive dog with a sword. Like, bro, how many animals do I have to fight in this garden? We do die since we were unprepared, but we will come back to take Sif down. Also, one of the best boss OSTs in the game. We explore the garden more and more with attacking people and these leafy guys. I then buy the Crest of Artorias to open the door with the big light on it. And we essentially opened up a new soul farm in the game, since we have easy travel to the bonfire, and behind the door is a bunch of human enemies that give 2,000 souls each. And so I get at least 6,000 souls each time I kill them. And I was able to cheese and trick them by hiding in a corner and then them falling off the edge, which I get the kill credit. So now we have a farming system for souls. I then meet this big cat who wanted me to join his covenant, but I decline since I'm already in one. But after all that explanation out of the way, let's put down a mutt. I test out a new spell that boosts my character and makes him stronger, but I still lose because Sif is not an easy boss to take on. After changing my drip, which will aid me into taking down the wolf, it became easier and easier to do more damage each time I fought Sif. I eventually take him down. It was definitely one of the more enjoyable battles of the game. Not too hard, but not too easy either. With that, we move on to Sen's Fortress. Yeah, I know, you're probably asking, when are we going to Honor Orlando? But we gotta get through Sen's Fortress in order to get there, so yeah. Before we do that though, we need to get a new upgrade for our weapon, and so I make the decision to go with the longsword instead of the Drake sword. Basically, it's a long explanation, but to sum it up, the longsword can get stronger as my stats get stronger, but the Drake sword can't get any stronger than it already is and won't rise in strength as my stats go up. So I upgrade the rest of my gear with my longsword and head out to Sen's Fortress. Oh. Ow. Ow. Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Already getting trapped when I just walked in. Let's also add fighting lizards to the menu while we're at it, cause why not? Then again, this was the fun part of the game. I did enjoy how there were more obstacles that weren't monsters, but rather just dangerous areas and terrain. Anyway, we explore Sen's Fortress, and if I would have showed you all the footage, we'd be here all day, because I explored every nook and cranny in this place. All you really need to know is that this place was hard to explore, and there were plenty of traps. We light the next bonfire, and we're nearing the very top of Sen's Fortress. We then release a wizard-looking guy who's actually the master of the other guy I saved, so that's neat. We finally find the boss of the fortress, and he's a big metal boy. I do think I died more times to falling rather than the boss though. Kinda embarrassing. Before I fight that metal boy again though, I decided to take out the giant that opened the gate for us because he was actually interfering in the fight by throwing these fireballs at me. We can now finally fight this metal giant in peace. Whoa! Yeah, I wasn't joking when I said I died more to falling rather than the boss. After getting thrown around like a doll, I kept beating him down with melee and pyromancy attacks, and we finish him off by bringing him down like a firefighter. Or, wait, the opposite of that actually. Anyway, we then get kidnapped by these gargoyle creatures and we finally make it. Yeah, we made it.
Where am I?
Good question, Cobain. We are finally back in track with the main story, and we can actually continue our adventure without any side quests being in the mix. May I also say that this place was absolutely beautiful. I mean, you would think that this is the most peaceful place in the game. Then you realize you're still playing Dark Souls. After finding a bonfire, we meet two sentinels, or giants. I was thinking I could take them on until I did 0 damage with my strongest spell. This wasn't going to be easy. We passed those sentinels and explored more of the area with us dying a couple times. Low-key was getting rage baited quite easily as well. I then realized that the IGN guide had another side quest for us. So, you remember that peculiar doll we got at the asylum? Well, we can finally use it as a key, because we get transported into a beautiful painting.
Oh, crap. Okay. Okay. Oh, alright. Alrighty.
Ah yes, the creepy snow atmosphere. You gotta love it. After killing a bunch of hollows and a naked bird, I came across another dragon, an undead dragon, but I do kind of cheese it by going up and down stairs, and we eventually kill him. So, tell me why he is still at the bridge. I think this was a glitch because nothing was happening and the message told me to lunge, which made the dragon stand up, I guess. Anyway, I then entered a boss room, but the boss wasn't attacking. I think this is a furry, but she says we are free to go and I get to leave, so she actually begged us to leave. I low-key just wanted to get out of there, so that ends our journey in the painting. We climb up these massive steps, and after escaping the 2 sentinels, we came across some knights. What's shocking though is that these knights respawn every time. I guess they expect us to take them on as normal enemies now, but after playing this game for so long, I have become a master at parrying. We also got some new armor, which is the same armor of that slow guy we fought. We put on his pants and we went on our way to kick some butt. We did mess up sometimes though. And then we finally meet the giant blacksmith. He will be important later on. Before we continue though, I lost about 3 hours of footage. And so I basically lost about like the whole journey, or at least the end of my journey on Orlando, since it got corrupted. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about what I did, the main story elements, and what's happening in the main story, and what I have to do in the future. To start off, I explored on Orlando and fought a bunch of knights. I then make it to this open area where I am able to use a specific item. Do you remember that black eye orb? Well, apparently I can use it now in this huge opening space. So I decided to use it, and now I understand why everyone wanted me to kill him. It makes sense now. I take out the Golden Knight with his 2 allies pretty easily, it wasn't too hard. And then I finally face Ornstein and Smoke. If you know anything about Dark Souls, you know that this iconic duo is one of the hardest bosses in the game. You will struggle, you will feel pain, you will die. It's honestly, it's a luck game. It's really a luck game, because even when it's so hard to fight Ornstein and Smoke. I remember spending at least 2 hours just trying to beat them, trying to fight them, trying to beat them, and I lost like every time. It was a rough situation. Like even like hiding behind the pillars and stuff, it was still hard. And then the second phase did not make it any better. It took so long. I honestly never want to go through that again. But if I were to go through it again, a little nice subscribe and a like would encourage me to play another Souls game. Anyway, after beating the most deadliest duo in like Dark Souls and one of the hardest boss fights in the game, like I generally wanted to quit, I meet with a person named Guinevere. Essentially speaking, she's the one who will grant me the Lord Vessel, the thing we've been needing for this whole journey. Took us long enough, right? And so it gives us the ability to warp to bonfires and leads to me completing the main mission that Snake Guy gave me. She also said she wanted me to succeed Lord Gwen and inherit a fire. I'm not quite sure what that even means, but I mean, hey, I'll do it. And so in order to do that, I have to satiate the Lord Vessel by providing Lord Souls, which we have to get from these bosses. Essentially 4 bosses we have to fight. So basically, if we kill the 4 bosses, we use the Lord Souls we get from those bosses for the vessel, we have the accessibility to Lord Gwen, and we can succeed him. Before that though, we're going to do a little side quest, cause why not? We go into a massive tree and find a hidden wall that leads us to the Great Hollow. You're probably asking, why are we even here? Honestly, that's a good question, because I have no idea. When I came here, I read the IGN guide to see if I missed anything, and apparently it said this was optional, but I didn't see that, so I spent a good amount of time. Another Hydra. I do take out the Hydra since I have prior experience, and what I find next is kinda heartbreaking. There was a dragon covenant I could have joined and since I was going for a Dragon Fire type build. Would have been cool to have, but I'm fine with the Covenant I have anyway. Well, I guess it's time to finish this game. So, instead of dragging this out with each boss and showing you how I defeat them, let's run a little montage and put the final 4 bosses down.
Oh, she died. Oh. I think we're not making it out alive. Take the L.
I have finally done it. I killed the 4 bosses and obtained the Lord Souls. I completed all of the DLC, and now I can finally fight Gwen, succeed him, and take on the Flame. I am so excited for this boss fight. I have gone into the tombs and graves where I destroyed Nito. I fought the immortal dragon Seath, whose weakness was a crystal. I went into the darkness and came out with the 4 kings defeated. I crossed the endless lava paths to take out the bed of chaos. I fought one of the strongest knights and came out victorious. I even took out Manus, the father of the abyss, and silenced him from the eternal darkness. I have defeated gods, legends, monsters, all of the worst fears you can think of. Now, only one remains. the one they call the strongest, the one who chained the world to the fire, we can finally face the Lord of Sunlight, Gwen. I entered expecting a god, a king, a final glorious battle. Everything in this journey has led to this. But something was off. This is the final boss? The Lord of Sunlight, the god whose name shaped empires. He is not even a challenge. I expected a king, a warrior, a god. But what I found was something else entirely. A figure stumbling through ash, lost in his own fading memory. A being swinging without purpose, without clarity, as if he no longer knew why he was fighting. Only that he could not stop. I thought this was weakness, a god brought down to his very lowest, a remnant of an age already dead. But then, in that heat, surrounded by the ashes of the old world, I finally understood. Gwen didn't fall. He surrendered himself. He threw his soul into the flame, not for glory, but because he feared what laid in the dark. He feared the end of fire, of order, of everything he built. And so, he sacrificed his mind, body, and his very being to keep that flame alive for just a little longer. That final battle, it wasn't a test of strength, it was mercy. I didn't kill a god, I freed a prisoner. Freedom from centuries of burning, from the torment of a purpose he could no longer comprehend. And when he finally fell, the flame looked at me. It didn't command me or threaten me. It just waited. The same way it once waited for him. And there, in the ashes of the old age, I'd made my decision. I walk into the flame. I offer my soul and I embrace the same burden that destroyed Gwen. Not out of fear, but out of acceptance. I linked the fire. I kept the age alive. I became the next Lord of Cinder. The flame endures because I burn.